Hey guys, welcome to No Filters, Just Freedom, the show for people who are ready to stop shrinking, start rising, and live with unapologetic audacity. My name is Jasmine, I'm a life coach, and I'm here to guide us all through this journey of bold, authentic living. Hello and welcome back, my favorite rebels. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope everything is going well, and I hope we are ready to put our seatbelts on and get going, because today we are going to talk about self-worth, the big one, the one that nobody wants to talk about, the one that we all pretend we have completely together when deep down we're all struggling with it. Self-worth is a huge deal because you can't expect somebody to treat you better or differently than how you treat yourself. That is just the honest to God truth. If you don't value yourself, you cannot expect other people to value you. So you have to love yourself first, and then other people will love you. It's the same weird concept and analogy people like to give all the time of you have to put your life jacket on first before you can save someone else. It seems selfish, but it's so important because, again, people will take and you won't know when to say no because you deserve more. Do you realize that you deserve more? So we're going to talk about how to stop feeling like a bargain bin version of yourself, okay? You are not on sale. You are not less than. This is for those of us that apologize for taking up space, who downplay our achievements as if they're some sort of crime, or even stay in like a situationship where you were treated like a maybe we're somewhere. We don't want to be those people. All of us are in the self-worth struggle club, and I don't want to be in that club anymore. So I have to decide that I want to be better when it comes to my self-worth. And self-worth isn't about the ego. It's about not accepting crumbs when you deserve the whole freaking cake. Low self-worth is like wearing foggy, messed up glasses. You can't see your own value clearly, so you let other people define it for you. You cannot let other people define who you are. They don't know you like that. They might know you better than you might think they do, but no one knows you like you know yourself. No one should know you better than you know yourself. I know we like to say things like that, like, oh, they know me better than I know myself. That is so unhealthy. Absolutely not. You need to know yourself. You need to understand yourself. You need to love yourself. That's what self-worth is all about. Your worth is about what you're willing to pay for it. That's what worth is. That's what we give worth to. How valuable is it? So how valuable is yourself? How much is your self worth to you? If you had to purchase yourself, what value would you put on it? That's what self-worth is about. So first thing we're going to do is talk about the self-worth red flags. Where do we feel like we might need to level up our self-worth? Again, we talk about things like the over-apologizer. When you say sorry because you were breathing too loud. No, you are not a nuisance just to be in the room. This is not a you need to be seen and not heard kind of a moment. That's not how this works. You deserve to be where you are just like everybody else, and you do not have to apologize for being alive. You apologize when you do something wrong that may have offended somebody. You are not offensive. Your presence is not offensive, okay? They might not like you. They might not agree with you. They might think that you're in the way, but you don't have to apologize for that. That's their own personal opinion. I don't apologize for how you view the world. But I just don't have to do it. I refuse to do it, especially when it comes to me. I'm not going to change who I am and what I believe about myself just because you don't like me. That's crazy. And I'm not apologizing for being me. Own that. Take that. Stand on that truth. I'm not apologizing for being me. Make it your mantra. Put a sticky note on your mirror in the bathroom so every morning you get to look at it and you say, I'm not apologizing for being me. There is no reason to do so. Then, of course, you have the achievement downplayer. You know, this whole thing, yeah, I got promoted. Probably a fluke. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You are worthy of getting praise. You are worthy of being proud of who you are and how to pull things off. Okay? This is something that I struggle with a lot as I got older, specifically because I was constantly praised growing up for the simplest things academically or just, being blessed with a decent mind. I kind of struggle with the opposite of self-worth, which is sometimes I think too highly of myself. So I would bring myself back down because I didn't want to come off as prideful. So I was downplaying my achievements. I would say or pretend that I wasn't maybe as smart as I was, or I knew a topic as well as I did, because in my mind, I didn't want to be overbearing. I didn't want to be prideful. I didn't want to come off like I'm smarter than you and therefore you're less than me. But what I didn't realize I was doing is I was undervaluing myself. Pride is about not being kind and diminishing somebody, but I can shine my light and it not overpower someone else's. There is room for both of us to shine. One star in the sky does not mean that the other stars don't exist or that the other stars can't shine. There's plenty of them. There's plenty of space for everybody. We have multiple planets and asteroids and things floating out in our outer space. There is room for everybody, okay? There is space for everybody, literally. So do not feel like you have to be less or lessen yourself or not be proud of yourself for reaching something or reaching a dream just because you think you might be in the way. Absolutely not. I am not apologizing for my greatness. I will not do it. I have to tell myself that every day. I will not apologize for my greatness. Now, I might have to learn to be tactful about my greatness, but I will not apologize for it. I will not apologize for the blessings and the gifts that God has given me. Not happening. I won't do it. The next thing that we have to be careful about when it comes to our self-worth is the comparison addict. When you're scrolling on social media, Instagram and TikTok, and you're like, wow, everybody else is thriving while I'm here looking at my Instagram, eating cereal in my sweatpants at 2 p.m. on a Thursday. Who cares? Who cares? That is your moment, okay? No one knows what you're going through. Nobody knows. Maybe you need to eat cereal at 2 p.m. on a Thursday as a self-help healthy day. Maybe this is your mental health day. Maybe this is your time to put work down, to say, hey, I'm turning off my phone in the sense of other people can't call me. You know what I love? Do not disturb. Do not disturb is my vibe, okay? There are only a certain number of people on my call list that can get to me on do not disturb. Otherwise, I do not answer my phone. It is beautiful. It makes me so happy. It's okay to have that moment, but you can do that and you don't have to compare other people who are out there going, because you don't know what they're doing, when they were doing it, and how they were pulling it off, okay? It's just not how that works. Just let's pretend, okay? I'm gonna give myself a little bit of praise help and maybe I achieve something. If I'm doing a 30-minute podcast, okay, and I'm doing it twice a week, and someone is like, oh my gosh, look at her pulling this off, I can't believe she's doing it, and she's got all these other videos and business, and wow, and I'm just out here doing nothing. Totally not true. Guys, most of the time I'm recording these videos, I record my videos and record these podcasts and everything else at like 11 o'clock at night, because that's when my house is silent and my 2-year-old is asleep and isn't gonna call my name, and I don't have Miss Rachel playing in the background, and I don't have a dog that's barking. And you know what? Sometimes I'm recording it on the days where my husband is gone for 24 hours. So it is 10:45 on a Wednesday that, no one is home and I have silence and I can actually record. That's when I'm doing it. You don't know what I'm doing because I can't record during the day. I'm out here playing outside with my kid or making dinner or trying to do my laundry. So it's not always pretty. It doesn't always show up when it needs to show up. Sometimes our effort behind the scenes looks different than other people's. You cannot compare yourself to others because you don't know how they got there. The same way we don't know how you got where you are. So don't do it. You're okay. We're all okay with where we are and how we get to where we need to get there. Lastly, you don't want to be the people pleaser pro, okay? When you'd rather set yourself on fire than disappoint someone who would not even give you the shirt off their back? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. My self-worth is not based on what other people think about me. So it is not my job to convince you that I am worthy of something. It is not my job to convince you of my value. Okay? I will look at myself like a piece of gold, like a diamond, like some sort of jewel. It is not the jewel's job to convince somebody what they're worth. A diamond is a diamond. Now, whether or not you're willing to pay for said diamond for whatever reason you need to do, so be it. But the diamond is still a diamond. And it does not stop being a diamond because you'd rather only pay $1,000 for it rather than $24,000. Okay? We talk about 24 karat gold and 14 karat gold. You know what? Gold is gold. And depending on what you want to pay for it, so be it, but gold is gold. Okay? It does not matter if I have $1,000 in my bank or $1,000 in cash. $1,000 is $1,000. I don't have to prove what it is to make sure that it is what it is. No. I've said it before. Understanding is not a prerequisite for obedience. In that sense of I don't have to understand or agree for something to be what it is. It's just not how that works. So I don't need to bend over backwards for other people just so that they can see what I think I see in myself. That's crazy because you're not actually doing it for yourself. You're begging someone else to give you value because you don't know the value in your own self. That is dangerous. That is dangerous because if everything is based on what other people think about you, you're never going to be steady, you're never going to be stable, and you're not ever going to know who you are as a person. Beyond dangerous. So guess what? You are not too much. You are not crazy. You are not out of pocket. You don't need to apologize. You don't need to be less than. You don't need to compare yourself to other people. You are not too much. You've probably just been around too many people who weren't enough. Okay? Let that sink in. You're not too much. They weren't enough. That's how that works. So then you have to think about, we weren't born this way. No one is born with zero self-worth. That's not how that works. We're kind of like a clean slate. If anything, I think about our life the way I do my friendships and I do relationships with people. And I mean this in all of my relationships, whether it's coworkers, friends, spouse, whatever. You have 100% of my trust when I meet you. I trust you to be who you say you are. And every time you do something stupid, you lose a little bit more of that trust and you can't get it back. What you can do is mitigate how low that number gets, but you're not going to get it back because there's always going to be a moment where it's like, man, I want to trust you, but you did this and you did it with confidence. And so how can I believe that you're not going to do it again? I can simply believe that you are who you say you are. And your actions have shown me this, and therefore I trust you as much as you've shown me. Point blank, period. I feel like we were born with 100% of self-worth. And little by little, things started pulling it away. Where did it go? How do we feel the way we feel? But we have to think about this without blaming ourselves. Because the truth is, you didn't do it. You don't ruin your own self-worth because you start with 100% self-worth. It takes someone else coming in and demeaning you in order for you not to agree with it. So you can start with basic childhood stuff. You know, I was taught that love is performance. So now I'm exhausted. Okay? You love me because of what I brought to you, like I was some sort of trophy that you set on your mantle. So what happens if this trophy isn't as big as the other ones? What happens when I was supposed to get a first place trophy, but I got a second place? My performance is now determining how much you love me, and how much you love me determines what I'm worth. Especially as a child, you just want your parents to love you. And if you learn that their love is conditioned on something, that's what you realize. My worth is conditioned upon this. And then you carry that into your future. Not just because it's childhood and it sticks to you, but because it's a habit. They tell you all the time, it takes like 7 days to form a habit, but like 21 days to break the habit. So in a month, it takes you to start from scratch. I mean, it's crazy. You are what you are from childhood, mostly because it was just a habit created over time. And then you have to spend your adulthood trying to undo a bad habit. So we're exhausted because we were taught that love was something that it wasn't. And now my worth is built in this, and it's a toxic spiral. Then, of course, you also have society's toxic messages. You know, you need to be hot and you need to be humble, but you also need to work really hard and hustle. And then you also need to be whole and healing and have self-worth all at once. Yo, pick a struggle, okay? Like, some of us struggle with all of that, okay? Like, I know that I struggle with each one of those at a different time, and Lord have mercy, on bad days, I struggle with 2 at the same time. Nobody has it all together. Nobody is out here being great. Do not let social media fool you. Okay? None of us are super, super hot, super, super humble, always have the hustling and the money, and have all the healing at one time. My mom made this joke some years ago, because when you think about people that you see or whatever else, we were talking about Beyonce, right? Who most people would consider hot and humble and constantly hustling. And you're like, oh man, she must have it all, right? And then, you got her Lemonade album, where we know what that was, okay? And she was going through some stuff, and she wrote that album because she needed healing. And my mom said, if Beyonce can get cheated on, what hope do the rest of us have? And it was funny, but it gives you this idea that this person is not perfect. Their life is not picture perfect like you see it is. What this person may portray or what the world may see on the outside, you don't know what's happening on the inside. You have no idea what they're actually going through in their life. We're not all perfect. We all have struggles. We all have problems. And don't let society tell you that you somehow have to be perfect. We are breaking that mold. We are finding freedom. This is a rebellion against perfectionism. Okay? Go against that. A revolution. We're telling them, no, I'm not perfect, nor will I apologize for not being perfect. Then we lose self-worth over past hurts. That one person that treated you like the scum at the bottom of their shoe, and they left a bigger mark than you should have let them leave. But not because you should have, but because when our self-worth is really strong and confident, they can't leave a big mark. But when it's already being chipped away and it's already being taken, they just keep taking more and more. It's like, think about it like your self-worth can be like Jenga. Okay, and you pull a block and you put it somewhere else, and you pull a block and you put it somewhere else, but you're losing your foundation. And all it takes is for one more to move and it all comes crashing down. That's what past hurts are like. It's like, oh, well, take this from here, but I'm going to put it back over here to like gain some confidence in this area. And then you're still going to fall and crash and burn, because your hurts leave bigger marks than you were prepared for. And you need something to stand in the way to say, you're not going to be able to move that piece. This piece is stuck in place. So, hey, funny truth bomb, self-worth isn't something you find, it's something you remember. You had it as a kid before the world convinced you otherwise. Get it back, okay? You don't look around and then self-worth doesn't always come in self-help books. Okay? Someone can't tell you what self-worth is. Someone can't tell you this is your worth. You have to find that on your inside. You have to say, this is what I love about myself. This is where things come from. This is what I want to project to the outside world. This is what I'm worth. I'm not here to tell you what your worth is. I'm here to tell you you have some. That's what I'm here to do, okay? I'm here to tell you that this isn't just about being able to say, I'm worthy of something. Like, yes, it's important to say that, but do you believe it? Are you walking in that truth? You don't find it, you remember. So what do you got to do? Sometimes you just got to fake it till you make it, but we're actually going to make it, okay? With self-worth, we're actually going to make it. So here are some things you can do to rebuild yourself. You can talk to yourself like you're your best friend, okay? Talk to yourself the way you would talk to your best friend if they came to the table with some of this stuff. Would you let your best friend say these things about yourself?
I didn't think so. So what we're not going to do is let you say that to yourself. That's not how that's going to happen. Okay? It's like this weird thing for me doing an individual podcast. Okay? I have to remember that I'm talking to you guys on the other end, not the person that's right here. That was hard for me at the beginning. This idea that it's not a call and response. That's the kind of conversation I'm used to having. I had to say, okay, what would I say if I was talking to a friend about this topic? And I have to pretend like I'm hearing the call and response back. That's how you tell yourself and you talk to yourself. That's how you build yourself up like it's your best friend. If your best friend came to you and said some craziness like that and you put your foot down, that's what you're going to do to yourself. You're going to stand in the mirror, you're going to put your foot down. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the damn compliment. Okay? The next time someone says you're amazing, just say, I know, like a Disney villain. Okay? The baby steps. Just be like, yes, I am. Thank you. And they might laugh or people might call you haughty or whatever else. But sometimes you just got to build yourself up, because what we don't think about and what we don't realize is that we're slowly tearing ourselves down every time we're like, oh, stop it. No, I didn't see it. It was just this trifle thing. Like, no, you're constantly convincing yourself that it could be better. It couldn't be great. It's like, look, you look great today. Thank you. I do. I tried hard this morning, you know? Like, even if it's something I do with my friends all the time, which is hilarious. It's like, you know, oh, okay, Jasmine, you look cute. Thank you. I put real clothes on today. I did not walk out of the house with sweatpants. Look at me. Okay? I like your hair. Thank you. I decided to spend 2 hours in the mirror doing it. So I appreciate you noticing. Like, take the compliment and make sure it sticks inside of you. Thank you. I put in work. Thank you for noticing. That's how you take the compliment. Not only are you agreeing with yourself, but you then validate and appreciate the person for bringing it to the table. Because see, I know I look good, but it's always nice to hear it, especially for those of us like me whose love language is words of affirmation. Please tell me more. Please tell me how much I look good. We also want to use boundary as a love language. Saying no isn't mean. It's just saying yes to yourself. Okay? I love myself enough to pick me over something else. Okay? And you don't have to explain yourself when you pick you. Now, the difference between picking you in a healthy boundary way versus being a self-centered, self-righteous git is that you can pick yourself without standing on the face of somebody else. Okay? It's really just that simple. You can pick yourself without demeaning and belittling someone else to do it. That's the only difference. My boundary is, you know, I go to bed at this time. End of discussion. So unless somebody is dying, I'm not answering this phone call. And the boundary is, don't text me unless somebody's dying. Like, that's just, and if you do, it's going to be like the boy that cried wolf, okay? Because then I'm just not, that's not being mean. That's not me not loving you. That's not me, you know, that's me valuing my sleep, not because my sleep is more important than you, but the peace and the recharge I get from my sleep is more important. The cause and effect, because talking to you at 1 o'clock in the morning is draining me. But when I'm in REM at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm being recharged. That's what I'm valuing. That's what I'm choosing. I'm choosing the peace that I receive from my choice over you, not the thing that I'm doing. And lastly, we want to stop romanticizing our pain, okay? You're not deep. You're not amazing for tolerating absolute BS. You're just tired, okay? There is no prize. This is not a race for trauma, okay? We are not in the trauma awards, okay? Like, nobody gets an extra, $1 million or whatever else because their trauma is worse than your trauma. We're not doing that. My mom calls it the trauma Olympics, okay? We're not here to compare our crap. You're not a better person than me because you went through whatever you went through. If anything, I'm so sorry that we're both walking through this, and I hate the fact that yours looks worse on the end of the spectrum. Because in my mind, what I feel is terrible. So if it's worse than that, I am so sorry. I am not here to compare We're here to compare trash. Okay? That's not what we're here to do. We're not here to trauma bond. Okay? We're not here to do that in a healthy way. All right? We are not saying that we're somehow magnificent people because we put up with terrible things. I'm not some sort of saint because I stayed in a really toxic relationship. That doesn't make you a saint. That means you don't have any self-worth. And if I told you to leave and you didn't, it almost makes you semi-stupid. I'm being gentle by saying semi. We don't know the circumstance. But like, if you stayed after, people told you not to, you made a choice. So when someone says, oh man, you've changed, be like, yep, upgraded to a newer, shinier model. No refunds. I'm not going back. Okay? You do not have to stay where you are. You do not have to be stuck with what's happening. You can literally say, yes, I'm growing, I'm changing, I'm becoming better. Why? Because I matter, because I have value, because I want to add to my personal self-worth. When the world tries to test you, and they will, we gotta figure out how to handle our setbacks without the spiral, because that's the issue. The issue is not that the world is going to test you. The issue is not that you might not pass the test right away. The issue is the consequences that we can have if we don't pass. You cannot afford to spiral and wonder about your entire essence just because the world tried you. So when you have things like rejection, not everybody is going to like you. Good. That's okay. Poison ivy is natural too, but we avoid that like the plague. Okay? Like, it's okay. Not everything is going to work out well for everybody. You're not always going to be everybody's cup of tea. That's okay, because there are people out there that aren't your cup of tea. And you don't have to apologize for that either. I don't like them. Why? They rub me the wrong way. End of discussion. So it's okay if you rub somebody else the wrong way. You just don't need to be a part of each other's lives. No problem. When it comes to failure, you are not a failure. You're a learner, and you happen to have a really interesting story along the way. Okay? I have a lot of really, really interesting stories. I could have failed in a moment, but I am not a failure. I might not have passed a test, but that doesn't mean that I can't pass a test. It does not define me. My circumstance does not give me worth and title. Okay? It's just an opportunity for me to grow and learn. I am growing up. That does not make me childish. That means I have opportunities to get better and mature. Then, of course, there's always social media envy. Comparison is like staring at someone's highlight reel and comparing it to your behind the scenes blooper reel. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. Okay? We can't look at somebody at their best and say, man, but at my worst, I was doing this. It's not a real comparison. It's not a fair comparison. It's like, for something that I really had to work on and really struggle with was dating. And then in my marriage of like, man, my marriage isn't everything that I want it to be. It's not as perfect as I see other people's. But guess what? We've been married for longer now, but like my 2-year marriage is not gonna look like somebody's 30-year marriage. They have been through hell and back and have still stayed together. More power to them. I don't want to know what they went through. I know what I went through, and it's only been 2 years. Heaven help us. So I look at myself now and I think about what I looked at when I was dating and like, oh, these people, they have this kind of a relationship. You'll know what's going on behind the scenes, and maybe they've put in the work in their 3-4 year relationship. So at 2 years, I was comparing myself to people that had over 2 decades. But now my husband and I are just shy of a decade. And I'm like, ooh, child. I remember when I thought I was comparing. But if this is what it's been like and it's just short of a decade, I can't imagine the strength, the history, and the struggles we are going to go through to get to 30. It's okay. You just can't compare. Okay, things are built, things are forged, and you have to go through the fire to make it happen. Stop comparing your fire to their end result. We'll all get there in our own good time. This is the mantra. I am not less than because someone else is different than. Okay, I'm gonna say it one more time. I am not less than because someone else is different than. It's okay to be different. It's what makes us unique. It's what makes us special. It's what brings the world together, because if we were all the same, it would be boring and stupid and blah. But we bring things to the table. We make things diverse. You offer something specific about you that help build a tapestry in this life. And there is room, like I said, for all the stars in the sky. There is space for everybody. You do not have to be less than. You do not have to shine and dim your shine in order for something to be different. You don't have to. It's okay. You are good enough just the way you are. So we're going to do some things, okay? This week, we're going to do one thing that scares your inner people pleaser self, okay? If it gives you a little bit of anxiety, that's what we're going to do, okay? You're going to say no without explaining. You don't have to tell them. You just say no and leave it at that. Sometimes that gives me heart palpitations just thinking about it, but that's okay. We're going to say no, and we're not going to say anything after that. We're going to write down 3 things that we love about ourselves. Even something as simple as, I make great French toast. That counts, okay? It's something that you did. I have the perfect ratio of milk to cereal. I am really good at that. Bet you did it well. We're also going to delete or block or mute anyone who makes you feel like you're auditioning for their approval. Absolutely not. I do not need to prove myself to you to know that I am great. Not how that works. I am great just the way I am. I'm perfect for what I bring to the table. I do not have to prove myself to you. You do not have to be perfect to be worthy. You are already the whole package, the mess, the magic, and all of it, okay? So I want you to tag me with your self-worth win. Extra points if it involves saying no to something ridiculous, okay? So you can find me again on Instagram at breathe_easy_coaching, or you can find me on TikTok at lifecoach_Jasmine J. I want to hear these wins. I want to know what you did to change and gain your self-worth back, to tell somebody, no, I am worth more than what you think I am because I decide what I'm worth. Then subscribe for next week's episode, and I'd love to hear from you guys again.
Remember, you don't need permission to be great, and this is your call to rise, to reclaim your power, and to step boldly into the life you were meant to live. I believe extraordinary potential lives in all of us, the dreams we've tucked away, the voice that was softened, and the fire that's been waiting to burn bright. This journey isn't about fitting into someone else's mold. It's about shattering expectations and embracing your truest, most unapologetic self. No more shrinking or waiting for permission. The world needs your brilliance, your resilience, and your unique light. It's time to stop asking, am I enough? And start declaring, I am more than enough. Your next chapter begins now. Let's write it with courage, audacity, and unshakable belief in who you are. The unstoppable person isn't born, they're awakened. And that person is you. Now go start your revolution. This world needs your unshaken light today.